So the NHL season is almost done. The season is wrapping up. I'm here with Mike Trakos, post-media national hockey columnist. Mike, there's a lot of talk about divisional alignment in the NHL playoffs. You know, unlike the NBA where it's the first seed versus the 8th seed, things are a little bit different in the NHL. Toronto is again going to be playing Boston. Tell us a little bit about that and why that is.
Yeah, poor Leafs, right? They got to face the Bruins again, and if they beat the Bruins, you know, potentially they got to face the Tampa Bay Lightning and get used to this format. You know, like next year it's going to be much of the same. The NHL and the NHLPA said that they are not going to go for a 1 versus 8 format like you're used to in maybe basketball or other sports. They're going to keep with this divisional alignment, which means, you know, each of the best 3 teams in every division makes it, and in addition to that, you get 2 wildcard teams. So the 2 next best teams, regardless of what division they're in, get to make it in the playoffs. What this does is, you know, seeing Boston every year, you're going to form rivalries, and I think that's what the league is really hoping to achieve, is that, you know what, the Leafs are going to get the Bruins every year. Well, you're going to start to hate the Bruins. And, you know, if the Leafs keep losing to the Bruins, you're really going to hate them. But it doesn't make a whole lot of sense in the sense that, you know, the Boston's the 3rd best team in the league. The Leafs are the 5th best team in the league. Why is the 3rd and the 5th best teams playing each other in the first round?
We talked about the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like, there are other teams that are impacted by this divisional alignment. Mention some of those to us.
Yeah, the number 1 team that I think has the biggest complaint right now is the Tampa Bay Lightning. So they win 60-plus games this year. They are the far and away the best team in the league. How are they rewarded with that? Well, they get an easy first-round matchup, but in the second round, they get to face either the Bruins or the Leafs. So you could have a scenario where you've got the best team in the league facing the 3rd best team in the league. And if it's not the 3rd best team, they're going to face the 5th best team. So, you know, a lot of people are thinking, why don't you reseed things after the first round so that Tampa Bay either gets, you know, the 7th or the 6th best team. So it doesn't really kind of give them a reward for finishing first, aside from just that home ice advantage.
Okay, I want to go back to the Leafs a little bit. I mean, obviously this team with John Tavares, they were built to make a deep playoff run. Mike, take us through what happens if the Leafs make a quick exit. They're on the links by mid-April. Management, Coach Mike Babcock, the fan base, just give us the whole emotional gamut.
So what is the sound effect for a nuclear war? Like, it's going to be, like, heads are going to roll, I imagine. Like, Mike Babcock has a contract that is pretty safe. Like, he's highest paid coach. He's only halfway through it. And yet I have the sneaking suspicion, much in the way that the Raptors did away with Dwayne Casey for not being able to get over that hump, if Mike Babcock isn't able to take a Leaf team that, like you said, added John Tavares, re-signed Matthews, Nylander, they're going to have Marner. All these guys are having just career years. If he's not able to get him past that first round, I got a sneaking feeling that he might be on thin ice. This team is, like you said, built to win, and they're built to win now. They've got an aging Patrick Marleau. They've got a lot of guys on that contract where they're on entry-level deals, where next year it's going to be that much tougher to fill out a roster. So they have to get past the first round. And beyond that, I think they have to make a real serious push for the Stanley Cup final this year. And forget about next year or the year after. It has to happen this year. And if it doesn't happen, I think there's going to be consequences.
If it doesn't happen, is there a chance? Like, what is the Leafs' best chance to beat Boston in the first round?
Well, it doesn't look good right now. Like, the Leafs are kind of stumbling into the playoffs, and like we mentioned, Boston Bruins have the 3rd best record in the NHL, so it's going to be tough. This is probably the worst matchup from a standpoint of the Boston Bruins are physical. They seem to have Toronto's number. They've got a hot goalie. You know, let's face it, Toronto's the underdog team, and going into the season, on paper, this team should not have been an underdog against anyone in the NHL.
And they just lost to the Ottawa Senators last weekend.
The
worst team.
They're the worst team, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I shouldn't laugh at that. Okay, look, it's been, I don't know, 26 years. No, 25 years. No, 26 years since a Canadian.
A long
time
okay.
since a Canadian team won the Stanley Cup. But Calgary.
Yep.
Looking good. Tell us, you know, do you think this is the year that a Canadian team could get over that, again, hump and bring the cup home to Canada?
Yeah, so we could see, I guess, 4 teams in the playoffs, 4 Canadian teams, and of those, you know, I think Calgary's probably going in as the favorite. They have the 2nd best record in the NHL, but there's question marks about their goaltending, and we've talked about this. They don't know which guy, if it's going to be David Riddick or if it's going to be Mike Smith, who's going to be starting Game 1, and based on how they play, who's going to be starting Game 2. Winnipeg is the team that reached the conference final a year ago. And like the Leafs, they're stumbling into this playoffs. So there's potential there. I don't want to say that no team's going to win it, because when you've got the second best team in the league and you've got another team in Winnipeg that reached the conference final, you got to say, you know what, this might be the best chance. It's just a matter of getting it done. And there's never an easy matchup. There's never an easy road. So whoever gets it done is going to have to work their butts off for it.
What about the Habs? Are they making it in?
Ask me a couple of days from now. We'll see about that. It's another tough road. They got to face the Washington Capitals as well as the Toronto Maple Leafs just to get in there. And Carey Price has got to stand on his head.
All right. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think down below.